Imagine moving into a community where modern day meets historic, where you're so close to all the amenities that San Antonio living has to offer, whether you're a young professional living on your own or you're a family of four. Like, there's so many things to do here in this neighborhood. We're going to cover everything from family events that you can do or single stuff that you can do on your own, where you can meet people of all walks of life and all kinds of diversity, and or you can be a family that enjoys the day, like in a place like this, in this park, which is one of many spaces here, green spaces in Mahncke Park. So today we're going to cover in this video Mahncke Park. Mahncke Park is one of the oldest neighborhoods, and it offers some of the best amenities that San Antonio has to offer. Like right across the street, there is the largest park in San Antonio. It just gets filled with so many tourists and locals alike. And behind me, we have another thing called the Botanical Gardens, where you can just go and enjoy an outdoor adventure, you know, looking at Texas wildflowers, maybe sitting down, reading a book. We're going to cover all that stuff in this video. So if that's the kind of neighborhood that you're looking for when you move to San Antonio, then this is the video you got to watch, and stick around because we're going to get to it right now. And by the way, if we haven't met, my name's Jesse. I'm the broker of Blue Utopia Realty here in San Antonio, Texas. I'm an Air Force veteran. I served 23 years in the military. I moved numerous of times around the world, and that's exactly why I created this channel, is to help people like you moving to San Antonio. So if you're moving to San Antonio, whether it's in 30 days or 3 years, do me a favor, hit the subscribe button and tap on that bell so you're notified every single time I put out a new video. I just love giving content about my city. I've lived here the majority of my life, and the only times I didn't live here is when I was serving. So I know San Antonio like the back of my hand. Mahncke Park has always been a real good place to live in. And yeah, like I said, hit that subscribe button, tap on that bell, and there's also a QR code right here that you can stop your TV, put it on pause, and then snap that QR code. You can schedule a one-on-one appointment with me so we could do what's called a discovery call, and we can find out what part of San Antonio fits you, your family, and y'all's lifestyle. So as I mentioned, Mahncke Park is just 3 miles north of downtown San Antonio. So that in itself just makes it a very great place to live, because you're in proximity of everything that's happening downtown. If you're traveling down Broadway, which is one of the streets that borders Mahncke Park, you'll actually go through the Pearl District, which has just been phenomenal. It's been growing, and there's just all kinds of amenities there at the Pearl. But Mahncke Park has a set of its own gems. It's also about 9 minutes from the airport. So if traveling in and out of San Antonio is important to you and your family, you're only a 9-minute drive. Typically what my wife and I do, if we're leaving out of town, because we live just a few miles up the road in the Alamo Heights area, we just basically take an Uber to the airport, and we get on the airplane and we go travel wherever we're traveling. And the same thing goes if you're living in this area of San Antonio. It's so convenient because you can just pick up an Uber, go downtown, have a good time, and then pick up an Uber on the way back. So saying that Mahncke Park is centrally located is just an understatement. There's just so many things to do here. And speaking of Mahncke Park and the boundaries, on the west side of the neighborhood, you're going to find Broadway. On the east side of the neighborhood is going to be New Braunfels Avenue, and then you're kind of sandwiched in between Hildebrandt and basically IH-35 or Highway 281. So getting in and out of Mahncke Park is real simple. And another thing that I like about Mahncke Park is that it's not really car dependent. So the walkability is pretty fair, and when I say fair is because there's just so many things. Like I'm going to show you right here, like right behind me, this is Broadway, and there's just so many restaurants up and down that street that you can, you know, go hang out with or hang out in, get something to eat, and it's just so conveniently located. Speaking of the schools, there's actually a school here in Mahncke Park, right across the street from the park. So this is Mahncke Park right here behind me, and this is it's called Mahncke Park, but the actual neighborhood is also Mahncke Park. But there's a school right across the park, and it is Lamar Elementary School, and Niche rated it at a C minus. So it's not the best school in San Antonio, but it's absolutely not the worst school. I can tell you from experience, I've lived here my whole life and nothing negative has ever come out of Lamar Elementary School. Now the other schools that service this area are Mark Twain Middle School, which is down the road by Alamos Park, by Monte Vista, and some other neighborhoods. It's on San Pedro Avenue, and that one I could not find a rating for it, but I would guess it's somewhere in the B or C category. And then the high school is Edison High School, which I definitely know. That one also, according to Niche, is a C minus high school. But that's not bad news though, because there's still a plethora of opportunities. If you have children and you want to put them in a good school, you have a couple of highly rated schools. For instance, Incarnate Word, which is just up the street, that's an A+ school. It's a private school. It is a Catholic school, but it is a phenomenal school. And then you have Central Catholic, which is another A-rated high school. And the last A-rated high school that you can put your children in is St. Anthony's High School. So there's just so many opportunities here. As a matter of fact, right across the street where I'm standing, there's a private school that is for young children, so like an elementary school. It's called the Acorn. I personally know about that school. They have a great curriculum, and yeah, so if you're living here and you have small children, don't worry, like you still have a lot of options in order to put your children in a highly rated school. So as I mentioned in the intro, some of your options that you have if you move here and you're purchasing a home is you can find single family homes, you can find condos, townhomes, or even multifamily. There are some opportunities to rent, although I didn't gather any of the information on the rental properties because there's so little of them. I did get the average home price is $480,000, and the style of homes that you're looking at is either going to be a small bungalow, it's going to be a small cottage, because this is just the way these neighborhoods started off, or you can find something more modern and newer, but the average home price is about $480,000. Now, if you're looking for a condo, there's a condominium that is a high-rise. It's right down the street on Broadway. Coincidentally, it's called the Broadway, and you could find a 1-bedroom, 2-bath for about $370,000, and you can find a 5-bedroom, 6-bath condo for about $1.2 million. So that one, I've seen it. It has great views of the city. You can see all of Mahncke Park all the way to downtown. So if that's something that you're looking for, you don't want to take care of a yard, or you don't want to have that housing maintenance that, you know, everybody loves, then a condo would be perfect. So you're looking anywhere from $370 all the way to $1.2 million, whatever your heart desires. And when you live in Mahncke Park, and if crime is something that you're worried about, you have nothing to worry about. The national average, I've covered this in other videos, is a 4 for the United States, and Mahncke Park is on par for the average crime rate. So there's San Antonio does have a little bit of problems with its homeless population, and this park sometimes does get some homeless people hanging out and loitering here, but for the most part, San Antonio is very safe. Like, you're gonna know where not to go and where to stay away from. Like, don't walk into dark alleys, because you just know that's gonna be trouble. And the same thing goes here at Mahncke Park. Like I mentioned, Brackenridge Park is right across the street. It's one of the most visited parks. I don't know if it's the largest park per square acreage, but I know that it is the most visited park because there's just so many things going on there. Things that we have in Brackenridge are going to be our zoo. We have the Japanese tea gardens. I've actually done some videos. The link is either here or here on that video where I talk about the hidden gems of San Antonio. That is in Brackenridge Park. So we have our zoo, we have the Japanese tea gardens, and we have all kinds of things there, which we're going to cover next. So some of the major employers here in San Antonio are going to be the biggest employer in San Antonio is Lackland Air Force Base. So Lackland Air Force Base employs like 33,000 people, but the local area here, probably the ones that are going to be the biggest employers are going to be HEB, which is in San Antonio wide is the second largest employer. Other large employers here in San Antonio, and this may be a reason that you're moving here, is is USAA, Whataburger. Believe it or not, their corporate office is right here, and a couple of the school districts. I think San Antonio Independent School District is one, and there's a couple of other, that are big employers here in San Antonio. One's Randolph Air Force Base. So that kind of rounds up the top 5 largest employers. But here in Mahncke Park, probably the biggest employer, and if you work in this place, you're going to want to move in this area because it's just a short drive to work, is Joint Base San Antonio Fort Sam Houston. Fort Sam Houston is an Army base, and it does employ a lot of Army, actually all services, Army, Navy, Air Force, and Marines. And then they have the biggest Trauma 1 center here in San Antonio, which is the San Antonio Military Medical Center. That's a mouthful. We call it SAMC, S-A-M-M-C, so San Antonio Military Medical Center. It's one of the biggest employers. So it's not uncommon to live in a neighborhood like this and, have neighbors that are nurses and doctors, and they love living here because it's in such in close proximity to where they're going to be working at. So other places that you might work, or that if you're going to be working in these areas, are Incarnate Word, Trinity University. You also have anything that's going on downtown. So if your job's taking you downtown and, you want a good place to live, again, great community. I mean, look at these houses. Some of these houses are pretty big. They're nice. There's some that are older. There's some that are newer. There's some that need work. So there's a possibility that you can get, a deal. When I was looking at the MLS earlier today, I saw that there was a couple homes, like about 175 to 200,000. But that tells me is that they need work, because, these houses, I mean, look at them. Even though some of them need some work, they need some paint or anything like that, they're not going to go for 200,000. These things are running about $500,000, so about 500,000. So those are some of the major employers that are around here in this area. So let's talk about a little bit of the points of interest, or like what is really around here. Well, the biggest thing that's around here that you're going to love is Brackenridge Park. And I talked about that already, but Brackenridge Park is one of the oldest parks here in San Antonio. And it's funny because we're getting close to Easter time, which is a time where people go and they literally camp out at Brackenridge Park to reserve their spot in order to have their Easter celebration. As we're walking kind of due east, we're walking towards another place. It's a big main attraction here, is the Botanical Gardens. So if you like the outdoors, if you like, flowers, if you like, just being out in nature, the Botanical Gardens is a great place to visit. As a matter of fact, my wife and I had our wedding pictures done there. So it's not uncommon to see photographers jumping out of bushes, taking pictures of brides and of young ladies having their quinceañera and that kind of stuff. So it's a very picturesque place. So if you want to do pictures, family pictures, that's a great place to go. And check this out. We're coming up to the community garden that I talked about. This is where the community gets to come and just, plant stuff and teach their children all about growing. And, despite being just minutes from downtown, I mean, it's pretty nice that a community has a space like this where you can, kind of just do this stuff. So check this out. So you have these little beds right here where they're growing cabbage. There's some that looks like what do you call that? I forgot what it's called. Arugula. I don't know. I'm not a farmer. Kale. There you go. Kale. You have some kale. You have some cabbage. You have some flowers. So this is a pretty neat part of the neighborhood. Like, what other neighborhood gets together and puts a garden, for their community, right? So they can plant things, grow things, and just, have some good outdoor fun. So here's another cool thing that you could find in a lot of these neighborhoods. My neighborhood has it too. Again, we're just a couple of miles away from here in Alamo Heights, but there's these little library boxes. I'm going to tell you, when I was growing up, I did not have one of these in my neighborhood. If I did, somebody probably would have burned it down or something. But you have these little libraries where you can come and you can just select a book, borrow it for a couple of days and then read it and then bring it back and and have somebody else share it. So it's again, community, a big sense of community that's really great about being in this neighborhood. So a couple of other areas that are here, back to Brackenridge Park. The Brackenridge Park has our zoo, so the San Antonio Zoo is there. Of course, we have all kinds of exhibits. We have animals from all over the world. And one of the things that's really cool about, not Brackenridge, about the zoo is that there's this little kiddie park right next door to it. It used to be on Broadway Street, but it got so dilapidated that they ended up moving it over next door to the zoo. So kiddie park is exactly what it sounds like. It's a little park with little rides for little children. So if you're going to go to the zoo, trust me, your child's going to want to go there and run some rides and have a good time. Another thing that's pretty cool about the Brackenridge Park is we have something called the Japanese Tea Garden. If you watch my video about San Antonio gems, I talk about the Japanese Tea Garden. It was a rock quarry that got excavated, and then a Japanese architect with a couple of other Japanese artists made this really tranquil place where you have koi ponds, you have, waterfall, you have, all these flowers, and that also is a big attraction for brides wanting their photos taken, or for quinceañeras, young ladies coming of age for their party, for their pictures. So you'll see a lot of that going on in the Japanese Tea Garden as well. So if you look behind me here, I'm going to walk around here. You look behind me, so this is where the Botanical Gardens is right behind me. I'm not sure if you could see it, but that's, again, we've been walking down Mahncke Park, the actual park itself. And if you look right behind me, and I'm sorry about these cars when they pass by because there's a lot of noise, but this is Mahncke Park. It extends all the way from New Braunfels Street all the way to Broadway Street. So that's what makes this this neighborhood pretty nice. We're gonna jump in the truck here in a second. We're gonna go drive around so you could actually look at the homes. I know we've looked at a lot of homes here that we've walked by, but I want to drive the street so you can see that there's a big mixture of houses and opportunities if you're moving to Mahncke Park. All right, so let's get in the truck now. We're gonna go ahead and drive around the neighborhood. So those apartments that you see right there, or that building right there to my right, those are apartments. And like I said, there's a lot of options where you can literally move in here and rent. But the majority of the things that I saw on the market right now are homes that are for sale. So one thing that you'll notice about this neighborhood is that these homes have a lot of character. There's no two homes that look alike. And you can tell that they've been around for a while. Some of them have a little bit of deferred maintenance where you need to get some maintenance done to them. But this one right here, the second one from the corner, as you can tell, they're remodeling it right now. When we were walking by, you could, the workers were in there, banging away and doing their thing so they can get it remodeled. And after they remodel that home's going to easily be $500,000. And then right here, we're moving past the community garden. So that community garden is a really, really neat place to go. So, you can tell the sense of community that, everybody here has. And then look at these trees. That's another thing that is really nice about this neighborhood is you have these mature oak trees, but not just oak trees. You have all different species, so it looks different. I don't know what these trees are right here with the pink flowers, but those are just really, really nice looking. Now we're going to come up to this light, and right across the street is where the Botanical Gardens is. That's the entrance to the Botanical Gardens right here. So if you wanted to go visit the Botanical Gardens, you just walk right through those gates and you'll go into the garden. Now this is just another street that we went down, and just to show you the different landscape, you can tell that there's no HOA here because there's some homes that are pink, there's some that are yellow, some that are green. The grass isn't always cut, but that's just, that's what happens when you don't have an HOA. You see that one, they're remodeling it, getting it ready. So some of these, like those right there to our left, those are multifamily. So those are duplexes. If you're an investor and you want to invest, this is a great neighborhood to do it in, because there are definitely a high probability to rent homes. And I don't know if you caught those that we just passed by, but those were just recently built. And what they did is they took these larger lots and they sectioned them off into about 3 homes. Look at these right here to the left. You can see that. And they're just like really skinny homes. I'm not a fan of them. But I guess some people are. Like, people are still moving into this neighborhood because there's a high demand. But you can see how there's different styles of homes. That home right there is a kind of a Spanish style home. So this one right here looks like a multi-family, or it even looks like an apartment complex, but it looks like there's a lot of units there. And of course, you got the good old construction worker just standing there. Get out of the way, buddy. All right. So yeah, he's working. But look at this home right here in the corner. So this home is not anything great right now, because you can see there's missing siding and it needs a lot of work. But once that gets fixed and it gets painted up and it gets restored, that home's gonna go for a lot of money. And right here we have an apartment complex that just nestled in the community. These apartments are called the Okinawa apartments. So it's not uncommon to find apartment complexes like this in the middle of these older neighborhoods, especially with the larger homes, because a lot of these do end up becoming multifamily. So they'll take a large home and chop it up into little pieces and make it a fourplex or a duplex. And that's pretty much the case with a lot of these. As you can tell, the neighborhood is undergoing a kind of the renovation cycle right now. We look that bright blue house right there. So we're gonna go to the next street over, and I'm gonna show you a lot of the newer ones. There's a new duplex right there. Notice how there's no yard. So they took these homes, which is kind of sad. They took these large lots and they just chopped them up into, three lots, and they put 3 skinny homes in them. Again, not my flavor. Those are duplexes right there. But here we come. Like, these are actually nicer. They're bigger. But we're gonna roll up into some that are very skinny and not for me. If you're like that kind of home, that's great. There's plenty of them here. Look right here. Look at those skinny lots right there. They're just, those homes are just really, really thin. They go up and they're just like, I call them a shotgun house, because you can literally shoot a shotgun from the front door to the back door. And here we just have some older homes that still need some work on them, mixed in with these newer homes right here. So it's kind of the landscape of this neighborhood. You can see a lot of new homes, and you can tell the difference between the older homes and the newer homes, not only because they look newer, but the size themselves, the size of the lots. Now those right there across the street, those are apartments, and these apartments do look shady. I don't know. Those are definitely older apartments, but who knows what's going on in those. So these homes that we're rolling by now, those are the older homes. Look at that one's a really nice, big old piers there. But these are the older homes that have been here since the 1940s, 1950s. And you can't see it on the video, but on our right side is actually Fort Sam Houston. So look at these newer modern homes right here. Those look like duplexes as well. But look, they're just all these older homes right in the middle of these newer homes. And they're still going for quite a bit of money. But I was saying that Fort Sam Houston is across the street or on the other side of the street, and bases and the areas around the bases aren't known to be great places, but this is definitely an exception because they're remodeling it. And here you have a commercial spot. It looks like an old hangar. I'm curious to what they're building there. And then as we drive through the neighborhood, this is going to be something that's kind of out of place, but kind of funny also. Right there, this is not what I'm talking about, but right there, that gray building, that is an attorney's office. But I'm going towards another museum, which is a military museum. It's currently closed. I think they're renovating it as well. But you can tell like these are older. This is like the older part of San Antonio, right outside the base. That's the museum right there. So we're going to turn around and head back. So happy 300th birthday, San Antonio. There you go. But this is a museum that has a lot of military. It's a military museum. And then right here, you're going to see to our left, that right there is Fort Sam Houston. That's the old housing for Fort Sam. I say old, but people still live in them. That's a housing for base housing for Fort Sam. I talked about being able to do things with family members, and right behind me here is the Museum. The Museum is one of 3 museums that are here in the Mahncke Park area, and this museum is it's a child-focused and it's kind of an immersive museum. I actually talk about it in another video that I did about Alamo Heights, but you can bring your kids here. It's very interactive, so they'll get to use their hands and think and imagine things and work with that. Another museum that's right up the road focuses on Texas history all the way from when the dinosaurs were here to today, and that's the Whitty Museum. That's it's got a really nice dinosaur exhibit. My son loves going to it because he loves dinosaurs, so that's a second one. And then just all the dining that is down the street. So I'm gonna drive down Broadway, and you'll see that there's a lot of restaurants. There's a lot of things are closing down around here, which I don't understand. But just down the street this way, headed towards the Pearl, I did another video about the Pearl and about the development that they're making across the street. It's called Broadway East in San Antonio, Beza. That's going to bring a lot of traffic down here. And again, Mahncke Park, we're right on the edge of Mahncke Park, and the Pearl is probably about 2 miles down the street. So this whole area is being developed, and there's a lot of movement. There's a lot of people coming here, and for that reason, I think the real estate outlook in this community is very high. It's very promising. So San Antonio is recession proof. It was recession proof during the 2008 crash, and if you ask me about what I think the market's going to do here, it's a little slow, but that has a lot to do with interest rates. But I believe that the market is going to continue to grow here in San Antonio. We are the least expensive metropolitan area in Texas. We're cheaper than Dallas, we're cheaper than Austin, and we're cheaper than Houston. So if you're looking to move to San Antonio, I think this is the right move. Like, you're doing the right thing. If Mahncke Park is where you'd like some more information, then let me know. I'll grab that for you. Again, you can call me, you can text me, you can send me an email. I'll answer them all. You can use this QR code right here to schedule a discovery call. Whichever way you contact me, know that I have your back when you're moving to San Antonio. If Mahncke Park isn't where you want to end up, then let's do a discovery call so I can figure out what your lifestyle is and what your expectations are, and I guarantee you I'll find you a great place to live in San Antonio. So if you want more information about San Antonio, we have full vlogs. It's either on this side or this side, full vlog tours just like this one, where we go out on the street and we show you the neighborhoods. And then of course there's other videos. Stick around, subscribe, like the channel, share it with your friends, and comment please. It helps the algorithm to put this video in in front of more eyeballs of people like you moving to San Antonio. So thank you again. Have a great one. We'll see you in the next video.